Hello and welcome to another case study. Today we're going to be looking at 4 different players, I think. One is iron, one is bronze, one is silver, one is gold. Actually, we're going to look at 5 players even. I think we're even looking at the plat player. So I prepared some jungle plots today, and let's take a look at what these people do. So first of all, for this guy, we're going to look at one of his Kazakhs games. So let's just look at this, I guess. I chose Kazakhs because it's an actual jungle champ people do play in jungle rather than reviewing something like, I don't know, Jax or something. And we're also going to have another Kazakh spot later, so can be a pretty decent comparison. So we're going to have some farming junglers and some ganking junglers and some mixes. So okay, this is our iron player, so we don't expect too much, I suppose, but oh my god, I forgot to turn this stuff off. Whatever, man. Happens. Either way, we get into it, and he's basically AFK at the buff, which pretty much means that he didn't really feel like covering anything level 1. That's pretty interesting. But how do we really open this? Okay, so he does his blue buff. He didn't really kite it all the way. The kiting here is not the best. I'm pretty sure that his camera also looks the same as ours. He doesn't really look at lanes, but I mean, that's an assumption. Maybe he does. Did he just smite this below 600? Oh, yeah, he did. Oh, it was 580 though, but still. Okay, so he's lost a few seconds already just by clearing him properly. And here you have like some approaches as to how you do this. You can focus the small ones, or well, do a few auto attacks on each of the small ones so you get isolated Q on the big one. Or you can do what he did. You can also do this. Here usually you auto attack the small ones once each so that they all die. But okay. Yeah, at the moment we're seeing a massive lack of understanding for how his champion's clears work, right? And it's already 325. And at 325, okay, right now he's down a whole camp because a normal jungle player who's higher elo on Kazakhs would clear at this point and have all of the camps done. So he's basically just done a full, he's just down a full camp. I think his HP is also not optimal, and I think his lack of XP due to not finishing another camp, so not being level 4, is pretty bad. And he also has 0 impact on the map at the moment, so okay. We didn't really do anything yet. Okay. Pretty cool gank. What now? Another gank, a little chunk. And what now? Okay. Bit confused, but okay, not too bad. Not bad at all. Runs away. I don't know why he flashed. That's a bit okay. Okay, so this was indecisiveness here, right? Like he first started recalling and then he decided to do the gromp. If you're gonna do anything, then just choose what you're gonna do, and it makes 0 sense to just recall after doing 1 camp then. If you're already committing to clearing more camps, but okay, sure. Pretty sure he only did because it's Kindred, otherwise he wouldn't even do it and he would just base. I think just basing was kind of fine. I think doing 2 camps was also kind of fine. Yeah. But the important thing is like he's not decisive. Now he has every camp up, but we're doing some random gank that probably has like no chance of working. Yeah. Again, he doesn't know how to clear his camp, so he's actually wasting like double the time on this camp. Okay. Now the question is, will he realize where Kindred started? And I don't think he does. Because if he knew where Kindred started, he just invades it. I mean, honestly, he probably doesn't even think about invades. Man, now he's not gonna randomly find Kindred. That guy's faking AFK. Yeah, okay. Okay. Right. The fucking iron strategist, fake AFK. I see. Okay, we find a dive, I guess. Oh. Okay. Okay, and we watched 8 minutes of this, and I think this is already enough to see what kind of issues this player has, right? So, if you were this player, you would just ask yourself, okay, why do you have 38 CS at 8 minutes when no one has been contesting anything against me? And the answer is twofold: hesitation and inability to clear. Though I guess you could also add a bit of not wanting to clear after the first clear. Like this guy, he wanted to clear the first clear, and then after that he stopped caring about clearing. But just clear your camps, man. Like there are so many plays on the map and these low elos that you can just focus on being efficient here, and then you can adapt your other plays to that, and it's fine. It's really not that bad. But yeah, since he can't actually clear his camps, what I would recommend this guy, or anyone who's playing an elo like him, because there's no chance that you can actually clear your camps on the champ that you pick and like somewhat play your champ and be here. I think what you should do is you should look up how these people clear, and then you should sit in practice tool and clear until you can actually do the clear properly. You don't have to do it completely perfectly. Like if, for example, Evelynn's clear is like 305 from blue to Krugs, okay, do like 310. If you can do like 310 and do that fine, good. Good. That's fine enough, you know? And just find that for whatever champ you play. And then the rest of his gameplay has mostly been fine, but at some points, obviously, like when your second camps respawn, you just do them, right? But other than that, like the ganks were like pretty fine. The way he played the fights wasn't too bad, and so on. So yeah, as I said, the main thing you should focus on here is obviously this, where you try to actually clear your camps properly. Actually, this guy I think was our iron and bronze representative, so now we have a silver representative. Okay, so we have a Warwick player for silver, and we can pick something like, I don't know, let's say this game. It seems like it was pretty back and forth for them. Yeah, there's like a bit of bronze, a bit of silver. Okay. I think in bronze it's the same thing. I think until like bronze 2 it's the same thing, and from bronze 2 to like silver, whatever this is, it's like the same thing also. So if you're in bronze, also just work on your clears and you should be a-okay. Okay. So this guy is doing kind of the same thing, but he's not as AFK as the other one. At least this guy's like somewhat looking, I guess, but still kind of AFK here. So what are we gonna see? Okay. So now, okay. I mean, he does play Warwick, so his clearing is a lot easier. And I don't think that kiting the camps properly makes as much of a difference on Warwick as it does on Kha'Zix. Because if you're not going to kite them like really well, then you're probably going to lose DPS on this champ anyway. So, yeah. We're hoping he doesn't do Raptors now. He doesn't. Okay, so he at least knows how his champ clears, I guess. Even if he doesn't do it perfectly. But it's like kind of fine. We're 3 minutes in. He's kind of following his champ's game plan. Some kind of a gank. Doesn't work out, but okay. I can see the idea, I suppose. Then what now? Logic states we should go bot side and contest this and make our bot lane contest also, since they're really strong, but his bot lane won't contest since it's like silver or something and he didn't ping it also, so it should be fine. Okay, top lane got warded. It's gonna gank, realizes it, Takes this scuttle. Okay. As you can see, this guy's being a lot more consistent on what he does, like, at the moment at least. He's following his plan still of what he wants to impact and whatever, but he is deciding to clear the camps he can clear at the time. And see, he's also like leaving the small ones so that the pet finishes them, which is an adaptation that he learned from clearing. Okay, cool. Cool little gank. What now? I guess Vladimir's low, so he's just chasing that. Fair enough. He misplayed this, so he's gonna not get the kill. Because he played it wrong. But okay, sure. And what does he do after he respawns? Probably goes bot side. And look, he starts making some camps again. So do you think that this guy is very different from the guy before that we watched, like the Kazakhs? Like, I don't think that this guy is like that different as a player. Like, I think he's a bit better at clearing in terms of like the general mechanics, but I think he just understands how to clear on his champ better. So he's actually where he needs to be on time. And then it's a lot less awkward. And then he doesn't get sidetracked by 10 like random ganks instantly, but rather he's still doing some camps, you know. So it's already a lot better than the last one in terms of after first clear. Makes a decision, does something. Doesn't work out, okay, base. Cool. Adapting. Monkas. And this guy's game, you have to keep in mind, is going a lot worse than the other guys. Like, this guy keeps ganking this guy, but his mid laner is 0-4. And then he also died to Elise or something, or he died to Vladimir, but it was like with Elise, like 2v2s, right? The Kazakhs had a good game already, and he was still struggling, right? Even with a good game. Well, this guy's having like a mediocre game and he's doing better. There's a pretty big difference. Obviously, he's still making a lot of mistakes, but you can see he's trying to be more consistent. He's getting some farm. He's clearing his camps better, and overall, you can see that the adaptations that I suggested from the Iron/Bronze example are taken here, right? And now we need some adaptations to go to like gold. Okay, so for gold, I think that what we want now is to pick our fights better and to play them better mechanically is probably the biggest difference we're gonna see. But other than that, I think ganking lanes that are easier to gank, maybe tracking a bit of wards, and also obviously still optimizing clear is gonna be pretty good. Though Warwick is a champion with only a certain amount of clears, he doesn't really have too many options. So if we look at a champion that has more options, I think a gold player will utilize more of them than like this guy or something. But yeah, this is why Warwick is also pretty good for lower elo players to learn on, because he's pretty simple and you don't have to do anything too complicated. Okay. Then we're gonna look at this guy. We're gonna just look at one of his Jarvan games. Which one? Let's go like 7-4. Should be like pretty similar to that Warwick's game in a way. Okay, so now we have more of a gold game. And let's see what we're working with here. I also do expect that he's maybe going to start actually existing level 1. So yeah, see, he is existing a bit level 1. He's not exactly at his camp. So that is something. Let's just look at this. Luckily, we have the same side of the map and the same kind of clear start again, so it can give us a pretty good insight into their thoughts when compared side by side. So you can see that this guy is auto-attacking the small monsters a lot more, though I think he auto-attacked them too much because you want them to die at the same time as the big one and not before it. But yeah, this looks pretty good. And he actually decides to go for an extended clear. Fair enough. I don't really see too much for him to be doing right now. Maybe gank bot lane at some point, but other than that, not too much to do. He goes for a full clear even. Cool. I'm not sure exactly what Jarvan's full clear timer is supposed to be, but he's at least not doing horrible. Like, you can see the direct comparison between him and the Kha'Zix, where the Kha'Zix was done with 5 camps at this time. Yeah, the fight was played better than the other times, and it somehow works out, and okay, cool. So they played the fight slow, and okay. So you can see how this guy is starting to have some semblance of a player who wants to win. But just without the optimizations, right? So this is basically the template for what you actually want to be doing, right? So have some understanding of how fights work, so think about the fights a little bit, right? Like clear, whatever, work on that stuff, and then, ooh, even finds a counter jungle. Okay, cool. Okay, nice. But it's just basically a template, right? For someone who wants to go above gold to work with. Because then you need to start optimizing it. That's kind of the idea. Like right now, he's sticking a bit too much to the template, right? I don't think he's looking at the lanes enough, for example. Just from what's been going on, you can kind of tell it. But as you can see, it's pretty much what I said, right? Like, a bit better at playing fights, uses his spells a bit smarter, a bit better at clearing, right? A bit better at tracking wards than the last guy. That's basically what we have here, which is being shown. Cool. Okay. Now what base? Good, and play top side. Oh, base broken. No problem. Now play top side. Yeah. But the question is, will he go red and then Crux, or will he go... see? So there are still optimizations to be made, right? Like, for example, this is a really obvious one. Because I'm pretty sure enemy jungler just showed bot, right? So why can't you just do Herald, right? And why can't you do Scuttle, or maybe like her camp or something, you know? Like, why can't you do anything here that's maybe not going to be available later, or that she can contest later, when she cannot contest it right now because she's here? So some optimizations to be made, obviously, but you can see the potential starting to come through. So what do we have for our next tier, right? So from gold to plat, we expect some of those small optimizations to start coming through. So for example, when we have a chance to do something like Herald or something, we would actually try to do it. Or we would keep a bit more attention on the lanes, right? So that we can actually move at a time when we need to. Maybe a bit more efficient with stuff. And overall, just do stuff better. That's kind of our prediction. So improving on our jungle template and refining it. So for the plat replay, I have one of the games on this account where I played against some plat jungler. I think this guy was like plat 1. Yeah, last season time. Okay, whatever. Plat 1. So we should see a difference here. And we can look from both POVs, mine and his. But it's basically just like a plat game. Right, so I wouldn't be too worried as a Johnny playing into some assassin because you're really tanky. Your champ can be low econ, high econ, can be everything. Does a lot of damage, so you should be kind of fine. So what do we really do here? So he does a few camps, and she's actually kiting them now. Now we have some kiting. She's actually trying to keep them at like kind of max range of where she can. She was planning to go like somewhere, I guess, but then he decided not to do that. That's why he was kiting them towards river. Or maybe he just misguided, who knows. But yeah, he does a full clear. I think the timing's probably fine. It's this, and then, oh, look. This is something that the other guys wouldn't have done, right? So now we start refining our gameplay. So we add more options, we add more deep options, we pull the trigger and stuff faster, right? Like he instantly decided, okay, well, I can like do something behind tower here, maybe I can dive. And this is huge, what he just did. It's really big. He got a kill. Nice, right? Very nice for him. And now he will do some more camps. Like 2 and then base. Well, I mean, he's going here because Deluxe was here. Some interesting stuff happens. And you can see he's still the same type of person. Like he still can misplay and stuff, but he just has like a different template that he works with. Then okay, now he's playing towards top lane. For what reason? Because he doesn't know that his camps are gone. Right. Right. Then we get to like 10 minutes, and the issue for him is that he is 40 CS at 10 minutes because his camps disappeared and stuff, right? So here I kind of try to showcase both the weakness and the strengths of the people who have actually gotten to plat at this point. Because while these people might be a lot better than the gold and silver and bronze people before that, you can see that they still have a lot of weaknesses where we can look from my POV as Kazakhs, and okay, so I start red buff, right? And I also know that she started red buff probably because her bot lane came late and her top lane was cheesing. Okay, cool. Then we do a few camps. And okay, I kind of reset that camp low-key on the down low. So I'm actually really behind my clear because I reset my wall, but whatever. But I think Kazakh's clear is like 330 or something if you start red. So not that behind, just like 10 seconds because of resetting it. But you can see that now, okay, so he got something off, and I'm also looking for something, right? So probably not gonna get this. Or actually I do because the Z has no flash, and I abused that because I know it. So that's cool. But now we need to decide what to do, right? So like she hasn't decided what to do yet. Like she's just wasting her time. So you see how here she walked all the way like this? Like that's fine because she tries to help her Z. But then when Z is dead, she has to realize that and instantly decide to recall. Because look at this time difference, right? She's still here and basing, and I'm already here. That's like the first time that she loses a lot of time. Now she's forced to clear with no items, and I'm clearing with a Dirk, I think. Actually, with Iron Spike Whip this game. And then, because I know that she didn't really decide to base or whatever, I have vision here and whatever, so I know that she didn't go here at least. I was just like, okay, well, okay. So she can be here, I guess, or I can meet her here, but I don't care if I meet her here. I think I even knew that she was bot side, but then when I see her bot side, right? Like, okay, she got the Lux to break her recall or whatever. Maybe she even kills her sometimes there. Who knows? But whatever happens, happens. You have to back off and you have to do something else, right? But you can't do enemy camps because first of all, you showed yourself, and second of all, Draven is coming, and third of all, this guy's no prio. The Zed, so you're just like, okay, what do I do? So because we're kind of off the timing, which also stems from this time waste here, we end up being in a position where there aren't too many good options for us. And instead we have to just fight and hope for the best. If we are Sejuani, of course. And because of that, I get like 2 camps. And she doesn't. And now she has to base, and then she has nothing to do, and she has to just walk topside because she doesn't realize that her camps are gone. But that's something she should also realize. If she was higher elo, she would realize it. Because when you're showing bot lane, of course your topside camps disappear. And because she doesn't realize it, right? She's losing so much time again. And because she's losing time by being unaware of something, then something disappears again. This is even good for her because she actually gets to trade kill. Despite, how do you say it? Despite this not making much sense, because we know that she can only fight right now. She can't really do much else. So I could run there, but it's really unlikely for me to do anything on the side map, right? Like if I were her, a plat jungler would probably just run there. But then the question is, can I do anything there? And the answer is probably no. So I would prefer to just trap her here. That's what I chose. And I know that Blitzcrank doesn't have enough mana to Q me because it's 100 mana, the spell. For whatever reason. It doesn't even scale with mana or anything. You just memorize Blitzcrank hook 100 mana, you click on him, and if he has less than 100, he won't hook you. And then because this happened, she now lost so much time, and now I have 2 options. I can either take Dragon and then play for Herald as well, or I can play more for myself. And I chose to play more for myself. For some reason, I have a Pantheon who's like perma-dead, and he's playing support item now, and he's just running around the map. He's not support, by the way. He's just playing this because, I don't know. Something. We find a fight, and instantly after a fight, we capitalize on it, right? Take a wave, take her jungle. We get so much for a little bit of time lost from enemy team. That's kind of the difference that you need to make at some point, where you need to realize that a jungle is a game of timings. So the more time you waste, the more of an opportunity the enemy has to start punishing you. I think here she even steals it because I had no smite. Yeah. Crazy. This was kind of bad. I could have skipped one of her camps and I would actually get the Herald without it being contested. So that's something to keep in mind. The difference is that we're really, really strong. We're like 2 levels up already. It's almost 2 clean levels. And the difference will only get bigger because we have some lanes to work with. Obviously, our top lane is not doing the best, but we ganked a bit mid. Our bot lane is like doing good, right? So at that point, we can just take all of her camps and keep abusing her. And she will never get to play anymore. So you can see how, while we won't say that what she did looked that bad, right? Because when you look at it, okay, you think, as a plat player, you would think, okay, well, it's not that bad by her, right? But then, if you look at it from the other point of view, which is how, if you play jungle, then looking at replays from the enemy's point of view can be pretty useful because you can see when they actually get a lead or when they do stuff, and you can see, like, okay, I wasted like a few seconds here, and what does the enemy get off this, or what kit they get, right? Or what can also be a pretty useful exercise is to look at the enemy, right? And just turn on Fog of War for that side. What side is it? This side. And then just, okay, well, what do I do as the enemy here, right? And at this point, I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll just do this and then Dragon. And then I'll go bot lane if it's needed. You can see Sejuani, so I'm probably just going to run bot lane and help my Draven. Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna take her camps. Cool. Take more camps. Cool. Go mid, take tower, or take plates at least. Cool. Okay. She got mad, so I don't know, she just fought. We just fight, and okay, cool. But you can see how when you look at the enemy jungle's POV, it becomes pretty obvious what the enemy jungle can do, because it's kind of like an efficient line. While if you're looking from your POV, you would think like, not from here, but I think it was like from here. No, it was before this already. So here, this is where the mistake starts, right? Like, so we place this and we go here. Okay, cool. But then now Kha'Zix beats us 1v1. So I don't know. Okay. I guess. Then you just go into Draven and hope that Kha'Zix isn't there. Then you end up seeing him, so you run away. You have to ult. Then Izzet is dead. And now how can you salvage this, right? Is it by going in on Draven? No. So you're gonna use Draven, man. Like, the only way to salvage this is just run here or recall and then go topside and just instantly try to take these camps, because at least you're coming back somehow, right? And then if you were really lucky, maybe you can somehow sometimes invade enemy jungle, especially on like assassins. You would try to sneak it away maybe. But on Sejuani, you kind of just accept that you're going a bit behind. But if you lose all of these camps and you lose all of these, then what are you going to do? Your position in a minute is going to be even worse. So this is the issue with people who are like plat. You need to think more into the future. So if we went higher, then it would be that. But with these plat players, then what we really figured out that separated them from the people who are lower than them is that they had some kind of a plan. They tried to do that, but they were really thinking about one move ahead. But they were at least thinking about a move ahead, right? They weren't thinking 5 moves ahead, but they weren't not thinking at all, right? Because, for example, the bronze player, like, he wasn't really thinking a move ahead. He was just like, okay, well, I need to do something. I guess I'll just go to my closest laner. Something like that, you know? And yeah, I hope that this gives you some insight into the differences between junglers. I try to cover both ganking and clearing ones, so it could help both. And they're both like valid ways to try to improve, but I think that improving on clearing junglers can be easier at like the start kinda, and then improving on ganking junglers can be easier after that, I think. But yeah, either way, you're gonna have to learn all of the skills regardless, so it doesn't really matter what you pick that much. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, then like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.